product of my environment. Okay, that's the part one. So, Chris, tell me a bit more about your book.
A product of my environment was written in memory of my son. The day after I buried him, the police took me to jail. So I decided I wanted to inspire the next generation to not make some of the same mistakes that I had made. It was therapy for me, like writing it. I mean, I'd done terribly in school, so English wasn't something that I was good at, and I just started writing it down because in the time that my son was born, I read a book that was quite profound for me, and I said to myself, if she can write a book, I must can write a book. So I started writing, and it was like therapy for me. Just all of the stuff that was coming out when my daddy tried to murder my mum with petrol in our family home. I had to go and live with my mum, but I had a good relationship with my dad, so it affected me, and I made a lot of mistakes. Like a lot of the youth today, they're making a lot of mistakes because they don't have the role model, they don't have the positive guidance. I made a lot of mistakes trying to teach myself how to be a man. I thought I'd document it so that the next generation don't make some of the same mistakes that I made.
So, you're actually talking about one of the most hardest thing of your life. I don't know what to say. I mean, that's that's really good, man. And I can see that he can make a really good impression. I mean, that would be very good for the youngsters today to see this kind of book. Person speaking, I think that I won't just say reading it, but teaching it, and that people can learn from it. And I think that's a good step moving forward. I mean, like your stuff, man, it speaks volume, and the type of volume that we need right now. Youngsters need to hear this kind of testimonies so they can change for the better future. Bro, first I would like to say, you know what I mean, big up. You know what I mean, that's a real man stepping out there. It's nothing wrong expressing your emotions. I've always said men, especially black men, we need to learn how to do it. It's not always easy, but it's important to do so because it's freeing your mind, your personality, and also it makes you feel, I mean, at ease with yourself. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, this is real stuff. But a product of environment, man, that's £1 million book right here. So, who is your target audience?
So my target audience is the youth that don't necessarily like to read.
Mm.
I done terribly in school. Books, I hated books. I didn't. The first book I ever read cover to cover, I was 27 years old. That was Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I said to myself, you know what? When I started reading and I started learning, seeing the importance in reading, I said, this is something that the youth need to grasp. The earlier, the better. You understand? So I wrote it in a very colourful language, with my story that was quite engaging. There's going to be a lot of things that they're going to laugh about. There's some sad bits in there. There's some emotional bits in there. But the most important thing for me was to sprinkle those gems of information that are going to help the youth and make the youth see the importance of reading, and they're going to learn something important in that book.
So let me ask this question: how could this book be related to other youngsters out there?
So yeah, I called my book a product of my environment because I think all of us are products of our environment.
I agree.
You know, the youth today, they're demonized, ostracized, because society wants to keep this school to prison pipeline going.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important that they they give the youth negative stereotypes wherever they can in the media, so that when the general public see the youth, they can point the finger and say it's you. But I mean, right now, this book, like all of my books, we're gonna change the mindset for the youth and make them understand. Like, yeah, we understand you're a product of your environment, but we all have the ability to change, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna change. The ability of these youth is endless.
Mm.
You understand? The school system, the teachers have broken them down to make them feel worthless. This is why they're keeping up with what they're keeping up with right now. But the minute we change that mindset, the sky's the limit. That's what I believe.
I see two other books here. Can you tell me a bit more about them?
Yeah, so it's on top, the Reggie Stepper story. This is the second book that I released out of London's Finest Distribution, me and my business partner, Bernie Brightly. This story is about one of my elders. I came up with him. I knew he had a pretty colourful story. So I engaged him. I said, yo, I think your story would add mad value to the next generation. And he kind of thought about it for a little while, but then he said, you know what? All right. So the first day I asked him we started. I said, so tell me the most prominent memory you have. And he started crying. It was very emotional. And he told me it was the death of my mum. And he just left. He said, I can't do this. And he just left. And I said to myself, look at me. I'm trying to build this publishing house. And my first potential writer is going to just get up and leave. So I was like, wow. But we talked about it. He apologized. He said, look, I hadn't cried about that for years. I hadn't even thought about it for the last 30 years. We got over that. It took about 9 minutes for us to get it done. We released that. In that time, I started working on The Lie That Made Me, Mark Tugwell. He spent 23 years in jail. He had £1,000 a day at his worst drug habit. I mean, it's like, you can only imagine the kind of crime he committed feeding a habit like that. He got out of jail 50 plus years old with not a pot to piss in. Yeah. The next generation, the power of his book for me is showing the next generation that they want to live this life. Yeah. They want to live this life for the title of OG. Yeah. There is nothing good about the outcome when the system has eaten you and spat you back out. Yeah. He's 50 plus years old right now, starting his life today. Yeah. Trust me. These 2 books and mine the third, the 3 books out of London's Finest Distribution, our publishing house so far. I've got 4 more coming out this year, with many more in the future and some movies coming soon.
Yeah. I've always said impacting the youth to win, to become successful is something that we as elders, black brothers, always tend to impart it to the youngsters. So, youngsters, as you can see, we take the time to sit down, me and my brother here, Chris, to find the better way how we can impact your lives, to help you to be better than us. We all learn through the hard ways, but we don't want you to go through that life. What we want from you is to be a greater man. And all we're asking is just take the time to reflect about your future, where you're going, where you see yourself. Because I tell you what, that one mistake can be crucial for your life and determine your future. So what's it going to be? You want to be a man then? Or you want to be a successful man? Your choice. Bro, thank you, man. I mean, like, this is very inspiring. I like that. And personally speaking, I'm always about promoting positivity vibes. And once again, it's all about positivity. But now we're going to give all these tools for you to be successful in life. Not just for you to read it, but for you to take it, run with it, and become a better man than we are. And I've said, man, thank you, bro. Share that.